The one thing that always personally bothered me, and when I went into a leadership role, was just being an ID number. So if you call in to do something, you had to put your ID number in. And I always wanted to be more than that. I'm a person, I have value. And when I got into leadership and I was figuring out how to schedule people or help people grow in their role, I needed to understand who they were and what their talents were. And so that was pulled forward into hashtag health when we built people is, and you also hear about burnout, whether it's school burnout, corporate burnout, work-life balance. What does that actually mean in terms of life in general? Where do your hobbies fit in? How do you do a load of laundry in the middle of the workday? What if you have to run an errand? Do you have to cash out PTO for it? So does it cost you to actually do that? And we wanted to take a different look at that to work with people we really enjoy working with, that honestly at the end of the day you want to go grab a drink with or sit down and grab some coffee and chat with. Do work that you're proud of, but also feel like you're not just tied to a computer and slaving away for what?
Welcome to Grow Think Tank. This is the one and only place where you will get insight from the founders and the CEOs of the fastest growing privately held companies. I am the host. My name is Gene Hammett. I help leaders and their teams navigate the defining moments of their growth. Are you ready to grow?
Today we talk about leading with integrity. We're going to also mix in there a people-first culture, and we're going to help you think about your people, hopefully different than you've ever thought about them before. I know that's a big promise to you, but if you lean into this, I think you'll get some value out of this in a big way. Our special guest today is Brittany Latson. She is the co-founder of HashtagHealth. They was the first and only social media agency in the pharma healthcare world. I don't know if that means there's more that have come after that, but what was really impressive about them is how they do lead with integrity and how they let that flow throughout the organization, the people they hire, the clients they take on, the projects that they will say yes to and no to. Integrity is something that you might take for granted, and it is table stakes, but when it's ingrained throughout everything, it's got a much different feel, and it feels very powerful. Hopefully you will like this episode as much as I like sharing it with you. My name is Gene Hammett. I'm a CEO coach. We do executive coaching and we do leadership development. We help turn managers into leaders, all in service of dealing with your high growth company, the chaos of that. And if you're curious about how we do this, all you have to do is go to the next training we have. Go to training.coreelevation.com. You can sign up for free. It's for CEOs only. So if you're listening to this, we would love for you to be there and really take your leadership to that next level. If you're facing any kind of challenges, whether it be a little bit of a stagnant growth, maybe there's an alignment issue within the executive team or the co-founder structure, you want to make sure you show up to that next training because it allows you to understand this. If you are really curious about what it takes to be a better leader, go to training.coreelevation.com. Now here's the interview with Brittany. Hi, Brittany. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Awesome. We're going to have a great conversation. It's going to center around integrity, but I really do believe it will be something different. But before we dive into it, I'd love for you to tell about your company, which is Hashtag Health.
Yeah, excited to. So, Hashtag Health was the first and only social media agency focused in healthcare and pharmaceuticals, which is a mouthful and kind of like, what does that even mean? So, the healthcare space in terms of pharmaceutical marketing and healthcare marketing is incredibly nuanced and niche. There's actually a lot more regulation and compliance than what people realize, not just around brand communications, but unbranded advocacy and awareness. And there is a whole lot of nuance and niches in the terms of social media. Each platform has its own specifications, how you do, whether it's a reel or a post or a video, there's a lot of differences, and people use these platforms entirely differently. So when you're trying to do peer-to-peer communications or professional communications, each platform offers its own unique values, and people use them differently. So putting the right messaging out there really matters in terms of building meaningful connections. So that's what Hashtag Health does. We came at this with over 20 years of industry experience across the plethora of, being published in clinical studies to being an ad, a billboard or a commercial, and taking a look at how do you specialize that on social media. So that's what Hashtag Health does. A small, nimble team, always virtual, but truly at the heart of what we do is it's people first. There's a person behind the message that's reaching out to a person on the other side of that message.
Well, I know we're going to talk about integrity, but I'd love for you to just unpack the people first part of that, because I think that will get us started in the right direction.
Sure. So, we're all humans. We're communal animals. We're herd and pack mentality animals, and we're all about connection, right? And communication is connection, and that's the one thing that's great about social media is you can do broad-reaching communications and connections on a personal level. So, as part of that, when we want to build those meaningful connections for a rare disease or someone who's taking care of someone who's sick or a doctor who wants to reach out to a peer to understand what they're doing and what they can do better, that all comes down to communication and connection. So we think about that. When we started this company, it was two of us sitting in our home offices, coming up with a way of how we could take what we had learned in our industry and do it better to make those meaningful connections and work with people we really like to work with who are proud of what they do. And so we evolved a different sort of company and a different sort of structure and found that our services were really needed because it was us doing the research, connecting with clients to build a connection for someone else to get them back to a valid resource. And so that they could make informed healthcare decisions. So people first is where we've always been. There's always a person at the end of that message. We're people first in our language. It's not about what your diagnosis is, it's about who you are.
And I would imagine this plays not just with your clients and the people of the client work, it's the internal team. How
Absolutely.
is people first showing up as the internal team is the way you guys, meet the market and get the successes that you've had?
So having done the corporate world for many, many years with big name corporations behind me, the one thing that always personally bothered me, and when I went into a leadership role, was just being an ID number. So if you call in to do something, you had to put your ID number in. And I always wanted to be more than that. I'm a person, I have value. And when I got into leadership and I was figuring out how to schedule people or help people grow in their role, I needed to understand who they were and what their talents were. And so that was pulled forward into hashtag health when we built people is, and you also hear about burnout, whether it's school burnout, corporate burnout, work-life balance. What does that actually mean in terms of life in general? Where do your hobbies fit in? How do you do a load of laundry in the middle of the workday? What if you have to run an errand? Do you have to cash out PTO for it? So does it cost you to actually do that? And we wanted to take a different look at that to work with people we really enjoy working with that honestly at the end of the day you want to go grab a drink with or sit down and grab some coffee and chat with, do work that you're proud of, but also feel like you're not just tied to a computer and slaving away for what. So again, doing something that's impactful, but also feeling like, especially as a mom, we were two moms setting up this company and we were wearing multiple hats and we wanted to be present for our kids, but also do work that we are proud of. So we built this whole structure to where a lot of research went into what are federal and state regulations and what can we do in terms of policies, in terms of PTO and give back of time. How do we make a virtual environment feel like a community? Our team is all over the country, and we even have some folks that decide to go live ex-US for a while and still do their job so they can live their best life during the day and log in and do great work at night and feel proud of what they do. We don't want to just be an ID number. And even with our clients, we don't want to just be another agency. We want to be a valued partner to where if they ask us for our recommendations, they trust us as people and they know that we have their best interest at heart and we have the person at the end of that message at heart. So when we do these campaigns, they're proud of it and it's impactful. So we've taken that through on a small scale, or it's just two of us, and we slowly grew that out to where we've got great policies. Our team absolutely loves us. We have people tell us that, in any career prior, they were always low key looking to go somewhere else. And now they feel like there's a growth opportunity. They feel valued, they feel supported, and they don't feel like they're just tied to a computer slogging away.
I love everything we're going to, but the one thing we haven't touched on, because I said this earlier, is integrity. When we were trying to figure out why we invite you to be on this show, we always do research and we get pitched 3, 4 times every hour. It seems like it's about 30 or 40 a day that come in, but we rarely ever take them. So anyone listening in that thinks they want to be on the show, it's probably not going to be good to pitch me. But that being said, Brittany, you've said integrity is a central value in the business. It is how you guys got started. It continues to be a theme or a red line throughout everything you guys do. So beyond just like defining integrity, why is integrity such a driving force for growth in your business?
It's honestly at the heart of what we do. It's why we started what we are doing is we wanted to do good business and do good work. And as somebody who's a scientist that worked in, customer care and customer services, making someone's day, making someone feel better has always been incredibly important to me. And same thing with my business partner. And in healthcare, it's convoluted. There's doctors and nurses and insurance, and then you've got medications and prescriptions and treatments and advocacy and awareness and changes in lifestyle. It is incredibly overwhelming, and there's a lot of misinformation, and sometimes you don't even know where to start. So if you take somebody and you want to make a meaningful connection and you talk to somebody who looks like you and has gone through it, that's important. But getting somebody valid information to where they can make an educated decision for themselves or somebody they care for, or they feel that they can empathize and help is really important. And so that's what we do. It's about what we do, and we want to feel proud of the work we do. We want to get the right information out there. You're not going to change the world on a mass scale, but if you can go in and maintain consistency and try to do the right thing every little step of the day, one step at a time. It's kind of like a marathon, you know? When you start at that start line, it seems like a daunting task, but you just keep putting one foot in front of the other and do it the right way and do those right steps. At the end, you're going to get to the finish line and you're going to make a big difference. And that's the way we value it. We want to lead by example. We want to lead with kindness, and we want to lead with integrity to where we're helping people. And, we don't always need the big notoriety, but doing the right thing along the way. And if you can help one person who has a rare disease, who's never met anyone like them in 40 years, and because of one Facebook post, they no longer feel alone, we've done our job well.
Now, Brittany said something that I wanted to highlight, making someone's day. What if the lens you went into every day as a leader of your company is to make the day for one person? Maybe you recognize them in a way that makes them feel good about the work that they're doing. Maybe you recognize the hard work or the sacrifice they're making. Maybe you recognize them for, I don't know, something silly, the new shoes they're wearing and whatnot. People feel it, they hear it. And I want to express that a lot of CEOs don't think that their people needs it. But if you looked at making someone's day, and that was just something that you did every day, it would set up goodwill. It would set up so many positive things that when things get hard, they won't see you as just the hard ass. They will see you as someone who really cares. But you do have to do the work in advance to make someone's day. Back to Brittany. I really get a sense of who you are just from what you were just talking about with integrity in your culture, and you've made the hints to it. So I want to just dive into this. It seems like you have a really great place to work. Not that you have to have won the awards and whatnot, because maybe you don't want to do the work that it takes to apply, but was that a very intentional thing to create a great place to work as you keep hiring people so that they could serve your clients?
Yes and no. We want to do great work because we're proud of it. So we're a for-profit business, but money is not our bottom line.
Okay.
We wanted to work to where, so this company was started by two moms who wanted to do good work, that was passionate about what they were doing, that making a difference, myself and my business partner. And we wanted to bring in people that we enjoyed working with, that had the experience, that had the same kind of mindset. And so as we built our team, we also wanted people that wanted to do work-life balance and kind of grow their own careers and, that just do good work. So we started from there. And then so as we kept getting more and more and more, and we wanted to work with clients that we enjoy. And honestly, we don't pitch and present ideas that we don't believe in, that don't ladder up to a strategy that's not going to be meaningful. We'll say no. We will respectfully decline a proposal if we don't think it's the right thing, or if honestly we're not a good fit. We will say no. If it's going to be something that's going to be a slog and make our lives miserable, we will respectfully decline and say we don't think we're the right fit. We understand, again, we're for profit, but at the end of the day, it's doing good work that we're proud of, being good partners, being good leaders, helping make a difference in the right way. And it's honestly served us very well. We're very profitable. And we feel that we've done it in the right way. We've done it with integrity, and we're proud of what we've done. And we've had amazing people come through our doors. We have a very low turnover rate. We're incredibly grateful for our team. It's been 10 years of success. And we did this just with a good idea and putting our best intentions forward.
You know that not every business runs like this, right? You know, you're a little bit of the exception.
We wanted to be different. We took everything that we learned and we wanted to do something different. And it was like a gamble. And we gave ourselves a timeline of like, let's see if this works. And it really worked. And like I said, we're incredibly grateful for our team and our partnerships and our clients, and for every single patient out there that's seen one of our messages, the millions of impressions that we've been a part of. We're honored that you saw our content. We hope that you made a meaningful connection behind it. And hopefully, like, we can learn and show people it doesn't always have to be about the billable hours or the bottom line or the dollar, that you can do quality good work and you can grow in a meaningful way without burning out your team.
a lot of founders with the size of company you have, there's two co-founders that are probably very experienced, very talented, end up being the MVPs of the company, and they hold on to that. There's a proudness of the control. They're adding value. But when we before we cut the recording on, you said we have a team where there's no one single person that is the company. It is a real team effect. Everyone works together, collaborates together, trust each other through all this stuff. You phrased it differently. I don't know if this is decentralized decision making and strategy planning and whatnot. How do you frame in kind of your words about what I was just describing your company?
So for a long time, my partner and I, we were the brains and the muscle behind everything. But we kind of view this like parents, where hashtag health has been our baby, and we're really proud of our team. And our goal is, especially recently being acquired, that is, if we can empower and help grow, our team behind us and broaden it out and download our knowledge, actually learn from them as well. If we can leave this better than when we started it, we did a good job. If we can take our knowledge and do it on a broad scale and have it be part of a larger platform and a bigger team, and it means more people get the help that they need, more people are able to grow in their career and experience something different in terms of looking at marketing in a different lens in a specialized way, we've done a good job. And so I honestly, it's hard. You build something up for a decade and now it's time to grow it out. And this, again, like I said, we were at a huge point where we were at a crossroads of how best do we grow so we continue doing good work, but we can staff and support and scale. And it made sense to be acquired so that we had omni-channel services and work with all of these brilliant creatives and talents in a broad scape to where social is at the forefront and strategically implemented, and it gives our team career growth. So that's what made sense. And so we keep doing that. We keep doing that to where, you know, it's done thoughtfully and meaningfully and yeah.
Now, just to cut in here one more time, Brittany just said something. As her and her co-founder were starting this business, they were the brains and muscle. Now, I don't know where you are with your business journey, and you probably started out just like that. We are the brains and muscle. The brain being the strategic insight and the wisdom of what are we doing next. The muscle being the hard work that you put in. And if you continue to be the brains and muscle, it will work to a point where it gets to the point where it doesn't work anymore, and you will start to feel it. You will start to say, I'm doing the things I used to do and it doesn't work. You're putting in more time. You work yourself toward burnout. All of this you think is in service of growing your business and building that culture that we've been talking about today. Leading with integrity, yeah, I get it. But when you make the shift to no longer try to be the brains and muscle, you develop others to develop their brain, their confidence to share their ideas, their confidence to work through problems, to be resilient, to be confident in their decision making, confident in developing systems and frameworks that grow the business without you. You will be really surprised about what your company can do. You will be surprised about how far it can go, how fun it is to work there. And I say this from experience because if you're the brains and muscle, eventually you will burn out. If you have questions about what we can do to help you, the first place to go, I think, is go to training.coreelevation.com to get the next level of training. Otherwise, keep tuning in. And here is the rest of the message and the interview with Brittany.
I hope that answers it.
It does answer it. And I think that hopefully a lot of people are listening in here. It's like, I'd love to have a company that runs like that. A company where I'm not just the brains and muscle anymore. Like we get it. That's where it starts, right? You
Right.
have the force and the ideas, and you have to find that product market fit and all those things. But when you really have a company the way you've structured it, the way you use values, the way you are doing this, it's impressive. And that's the reason why you're here. I would love for you to go just maybe a little bit deeper into your leadership style. We've talked about the values of the company, we've talked about the integrity, but when you describe your leadership style, what would be the words that come to mind?
Tough love. That's kind of like off the cuff tough love. So I'm one of those people that I will do whatever it takes, and I'm incredibly patient. But if you come at me with a problem, attempt to find a proposed solution. And I will give you whatever information I can. I will show you once, but then the next time I'm going to let you take the reins and you're going to show me and I'll walk you through it. Learn by doing. And that's the one thing I always tell people, come at me with questions and give me an option, give me a solution. Don't just ask me to problem solve for you, because I feel like you learn better by doing versus just being told or just being shown. Get your hands dirty, get in there and figure it out. So that's more of my leadership style, is to try to guide without over coddling and over micromanaging. I don't think anybody benefits from that. And my goal is whenever I work with somebody is always to answer the so what. So it's just not the who, what, where, when, and why. It's actually beyond the why. It's the so what is the impact? So what is the value? So there's more of a comprehensive understanding.
Great way to put it. And of course, this comes from a guy who wrote a book with his wife, my co-founder, How to Have Tough Conversations. So tough love is definitely a big part of leadership. I know we could probably go in many different directions. We've been talking about using your values to really create the kind of culture and performance you want. Integrity is one of the main ones. I know you have others.
Yeah.
What have we left out of this that would really give us a full picture of how your company has created 3 years on the Inc. list and created the kind of relationships you have with your clients? What's missing?
Gosh, that's such a loaded question as to what's missing. There's always, growth and trajectory. We'd like to dive more into telling more of like passion projects and doing more of that. We're so ingrained in doing for others that we have passion projects we've wanted to lean into. We now have the opportunity, actually a big wish list up until last year was to be able to provide more access into additional resources and training. And so now with the platform, we're part of like there's access to masterclass and advanced education and being able to support our team in that for personal and professional growth development. As a really small shop, we did the best we could with offering like health and wellness benefits, but now we're able to expand more. So that was a miss that was kind of hard to navigate, but now that we have that, and for us, giving our team as many resources and legs up for personal and professional growth to where that if you look good, you feel good. And if you have somebody behind you supporting that, it makes you feel better, right? And so now we're able to do more, which, for any founder out there, it is expensive. It's time consuming. It's difficult to run a company. You wear multiple hats. You're thinking of bottom lines, but the biggest resource, the most valuable resource you have are your people. And if they believe in you and if they want to work for you and they feel valued and you can create loyalty and investment from them because they care, you're doing a good job. It is far more costly to have high churn and turnover and training than it is to build up and build a good relationship with the team that you have. And I'm saying team intentionally. There's companies that work off of employees and structure, and there is value to that. But, creating too much of a tiered approach or ego is going to hurt you. So we come at this and we go, honestly, if we're short staffed, I'm a co-founder of the company. I'll go run as a PA and I'm taking Starbucks orders and running to CVS to pick things up. You know what I mean? And if I'm not the creative director on site, if I'm not running executive producer, but we need somebody there, put me in, coach. I'll help out. You tell me what you need. On a different day, I might be giving somebody a performance evaluation, but it's understanding that step up to the plate, do the work, be willing to get into the weeds. And if you understand the nuances, you're going to do better.
Fantastic conversation, Brittany. I really appreciate your wisdom and being here on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Wow, what a great episode. I love having the conversation. She's so passionate about integrity and about her people, and it shines through. And hopefully, you picked up on that. That's what it takes to be a people-centered or a people-first culture, is really caring about the people, not just the work that they create, not the money that comes on the back end and all those things. It's about the people. And if you can't create a culture that is strong, a culture that is resilient, and a culture that is willing to navigate through the ups and downs, what are you doing anyway? I know that's a big, bold statement, but if I can help you in any way through leadership and culture alignment, make sure you keep watching for our stuff, keep listening to the episode, or you reach out. My email is gene@genehammett.com. When you think of growth and you think of leadership, think of Growth Think Tank. As always, lead with courage. We'll see you next time.